What's up, everyone? Today in the Ill Estate Podcast, we have the one and only Veronica, better known as the money lady, the lady with all, she's like the monopoly. She holds the bank. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, Veronica.
So I've been in this real estate world probably since 1999. I'm
Nice.
an old soul.
So 99, so you went through like '06, you went through '05, like those times where everybody brings it back and says all the bad times.
Yeah, I was down in the Downey group, the Planet. I think it was Daily Planet. It was way back when.
So where did you start? Take me back to 99.
1999, I was a receptionist at Century 21, a better service in Downey with
Got it.
Sariñana.
As a realtor or?
No, as a receptionist. I started.
Got it. Okay. Show me the top. So then you started a receptionist and then what?
So I got into the receptionist. I was a receptionist. I graduated, and then I started with Mr. John Pierrotet.
Okay.
He was a loan officer. A broker, mortgage broker. He took me on board, and I pretty much winged it from there.
So you decided, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do the real estate side. I'm not going to become a realtor. I'm going to become a lender.
Yeah,
Why?
I'm not an extrovert person.
I find that very hard to believe.
I swear I'm not. It's
So you're more of a numbers person?
I'm definitely more of a numbers person. I'm more of a direct person.
Got it. Get straight to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I felt hard money is definitely my realm. There's very little emotion. Either I can do it or I can't, and I know I'm your last resort.
Got it. So for the people that don't understand it, we're fast forward to today. Now you're a hard money lender. What does hard money even mean?
So hard money is pretty much your last resort. That a lot of people think it's private money or like those, what do they call them? Sharks, loan sharks. I am not a loan shark.
You sure?
I'm pretty positive. No,
Okay.
I'm a little guppy sometimes.
So then on the hard money, so what is it? It's a different type of loan.
Yes, it's a different type of loan. So normally you need like tax returns and pay stubs to qualify. With me, I look at more of the property or the equity that's in the home.
Got it. So what does somebody, like, why would somebody use a hard money loan instead of using like your traditional financing?
People would come to me. So I have your non-QM. Non-QM is your outside of your regular financing. Mm-hmm. And then you have private money. Then you have hard money. And so forth. Private money is usually when an individual lends you the money. So I can call.
Those are like the sharks.
Those are the sharks.
Got it.
So I got some sharks in my pocket.
Okay.
Yeah, I got sharks.
So whenever I get in like a tight situation, I might need one of those sharks, right?
Yes, but ever since 2008, it's illegal for me to do a hard money loan on owner occupied. So it has to be an investment because
Got it.
Yeah, remember back then. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was in high school. I was 18.
Oh, dang.
But I do remember, though, because I remember a lot of friends lost their home. And nowadays, when I talk to people, I let them know about the arms that there was back in the day. A couple different types of loans that were hurting people. And that's why they switched up the private money. That's why they changed the guidelines. And that's why there really isn't many arms out there.
So the whole thing was the NINA loans, the no income, the no doc, because back then,
Stated
the 80-20s,
income,
the 80-20s. So what happened was a lot of homeowners were suing the banks because the banks knew they didn't qualify, but they still lent them the money. So that's why it's illegal for us to lend you money without seeing or knowing if you qualify.
So if you take me back to that, right? Because there's a lot of people that have misconceptions about, they believe it was like inflation that happened back then, and that's what caused the market to crash. But it's a totally different market what it was back then to today. And it was really heavy on the financing because they were giving loans to people who didn't qualify for a home. They were just stated income. Like if I said, hey, you know what, I make $100,000 a year, they would just believe me and give me a loan.
Exactly. Well, back in the day, yeah, all you needed was a driver's license and a good credit score.
So then you were giving everybody and their mama loans.
Everybody, yeah. And then lenders weren't scrutinized for how much they could charge. Now we can't charge.
Well, you used to be charging
back then everybody was making a lot of money. It was everybody was taking a big piece of the pot. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. So now they changed the, number one, how much you can make.
Correct.
Number two, they ask you for a lot more income now to qualify. Right now, you guys are looking at taxes. You guys are looking at pay stubs, making sure like the bank also doesn't want to take that risk.
Exactly. I don't want you to sue me. I'm going to make sure you really can pay me back.
So that is on the traditional loan side. Right. Now, what you do now, hard money wise, it's only for an investment property, you said?
So yes, it has to be investment usage. I do have one product that is no doc,
Okay.
but you do have to put quote unquote skin in the game. You do need a larger down payment, which is the 20% down.
Got it. How much down?
20.
20% down. So 20% of, let's say, 500,000. I'm looking at $100,000 down.
Correct. You need $100,000 in the bank for 1 month. No verification of employment, no tax returns needed, and it is a conventional loan.
Got
So
it.
it is a 30-year loan. Yeah.
So then I could still, and that's for a primary?
That's
So if somebody doesn't have taxes, doesn't have any pay stubs, they get
Somebody
paid
just won the
cash.
lotto.
They just won the lotto, or somebody who just makes cash and doesn't report it to Uncle Sam, which is a lot of my deals, right?
Yep.
So if my deal wants a house and doesn't want to show, but he has money, money makes the world go around, and it makes you buy a property, right? So for the people listening, if they call you, they have no source of income, they can do it as long as they can put a big down payment. Now, let me ask you this, because a lot of those times those people don't have the money in the bank.
Right.
Do they have to be able to prove where that money is coming from?
Put it in the bank, wait 30 days, and call me.
Got it.
It
Okay,
only needs to
okay.
be in the bank for 30 days.
30 days. Got it. Okay. Now, number two,
Okay.
when it is going to be for an investment property, which a lot of investors use hard money loans, what are the requirements for somebody who is looking to get a hard money loan?
So this is where it gets complicated. So I actually did a video because I have over 20 different programs. So I'm very diverse when it comes to this. So if you want to do a fix and flip, instantly in my head, I think of 5 different loans.
Okay. Walk me through them. 'Cause-
Oh, there's
'cause
so many.
This is one of the things that I do as well.
Okay.
So I wanted to learn as much as I can.
Okay, so let's say, I'm going to ask you more than anything. What is I say this all the time too. You can have it cheap, you can have it good, or you can have it fast. Which two
So
of
that's
the
that's the Brad Lee triangle for you listening.
Yeah.
If it's fast and good, it's not going to be cheap. If it's cheap and fast, then it's not going to be good, right?
Yeah. So how can you? So the only thing I can say, the only way you can. What if somebody says they always want to say, "I want all 3."
Right.
How can you get all 3? Come to me the second time, you'll have all 3. Right? Repeat
okay.
business.
Yes.
Or with repeat business, I know you, you know me. Let's work together. We've done
Right.
the tango. Let's do it. That's
Got
the only
it.
way you can have all 3.
So going back though, so a lot of people, when they're looking to buy a house and you guys see all these different people who flip homes, everybody automatically thinks, hey, they buy it all cash.
Absolutely not.
So 90% of the investors out there don't buy the house.
I don't know
with
a single. I know one out of all of the investors I work with. I would say I only know 1 to 2 that buy them all cash. They all are going to say leverage is king. Leverage is king, and
You want to stay liquid.
Yes.
So if you're an investor out there, you're thinking about getting into the investment side, one of the biggest things you want is you want to stay liquid. And the reason why is opportunity comes around, you're going to need that money. So you rather have a lot of notes, different type of notes. So when it comes to hard money, what is the minimum down that most people need?
Okay, so I'm going to go over the 5 that I have.
Okay.
It's 5. So the first one I have is the 10% down.
Okay.
10% down you can do as long as there's different criterias for it. So I will give you 90% of the value of the price of the home and lend you 100% of the rehab as well. Okay.
Got it. And for the people listening to the rehab is your budget of how much money you're going to spend on fixing this home.
And I always recommend it. It's going to be your cheapest credit card. It's going to be your biggest safety net. If the house needs some extra repairs and you're saying, I don't need the money, honestly, it's a write-off. You don't have to take that money if you don't want to. Ahí está. If you want it, it's there.
Yeah.
I always suggest it. It makes no difference in the pricing. It makes no difference in the terms. But I strongly suggest you take it just in case.
Got it. And what's the second one?
The second one is 85. 85% of the purchase price, 85% of the rehab. Close that in 7 days. No appraisal.
On the first one, how fast can you close?
That one's about 10 days.
10 days. On the second one, when it's 85, you can close in 7.
I can close that in 7. It's a lot faster. It's a lot faster.
Because there's no appraisal.
There is no appraisal needed. No. Mm-mm.
Got it. And what's the number 3?
The number 3 is 8100.
8100, so 20% down.
20% down, 100% of the rehab. Same thing, no appraisal. And the fourth one I have. So those 3 have a minimum FICO score.
What are the minimum FICOs?
680.
680.
680 for
So if you're looking to invest, you better get your credit right, all right,
yeah.
guys?
Unless I have another option.
Okay.
Veronica, I have 20% down, but I don't have the best credit. Okay, so I can give you 80% of the purchase price, no appraisal, no rehab.
Okay, so you just run a higher risk because you're going to need more money down.
Right.
But then you don't have good credit, so then you have to do one or the other.
Exactly. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So those are 4 or 5?
That was 4.
That was 4. Which one's the 5th one?
The 5th one is, this one is the most aggressive that I have. Let's say you want to do a fix and flip. I have an investor. Veronica, I own 4 or 5 properties. Okay, don't have a lot of money. Actually, to be honest, I want to just keep this money for reserves. I have properties. Tengo muchas. Cool. I want to get into fix and flip. I will finance you 100% of the purchase price, but I'm going to lien those other properties too. All you're going to do is come in with your closing costs. That's for a...
How many properties do I need to have?
As many as it takes, depending on your purchase price.
So let's say,
I want to see 25%.
Can it be in different states?
No.
It has to be in what state?
Yes.
With this one?
Yes. California only. This is literally an investor that I call, and he calls me sister. So he is.
Oh, it's like that. You guys are like that.
Yeah,
like that.
he's
Okay.
a private. That's a private money investor.
So, guys, for you guys listening, this is one of my favorite parts about the podcast. I get to make relationships with people like Veronica, who are like way bigger fish than I am, and then it also I get to learn more, and I get to hear different products that there is. So I do fix and flips as well. I'm currently doing one. I'm looking to do my second one.
Nice.
For this year, I should be done with this one probably by Friday, and then
New listing coming soon.
yeah, new listing coming soon, City of Lakeside. So what I do the hard money and I do the 1090.
Yeah.
I do get 100% of the rehab.
Yes.
And then, but what I'm thinking about now, right now that she said no money again,
The wheels are spinning.
cash,
The wheels are turning.
cash is king, right,
Yep.
guys? So you want to make sure you have enough cash to where, like, if the opportunity arises, you can go ahead and shoot at 2 or 3.
Yes.
I think the most amount of projects that I've done was 5 doors, 5 different properties all at once. You do start losing your hair a little bit, and you do start getting a little bit more wrinkles and look crazy, but it's part of it.
Coffee doesn't.
Yeah, coffee doesn't do anything. So then, if I have, let's say, 5 doors in the state of California, would I be able to do 100% finance?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. As long again, let's switch it over to cross collateral.
Okay.
What can we use? Okay. What is considered
Like how much equity I have in them?
Yes, because remember, okay, keep this in mind. I just did a post about this yesterday.
It's going to be the risk that the bank takes versus the collateral that they have.
Right. So you and me,
value.
what you think is a lot in equity is different from what I think is a lot in equity.
Yeah, because you're a baller.
No, because you're going to tell me a dollar amount. I'm going to look at a different number. You're going to say I have $300,000 in equity, but if you're at 75% of the value, that's not a property I'm going to cross collateralize. My max when I cross collateralize is 75%.
So it's whatever you have on top of the 75.
It's the difference.
Like if I was going to cash out refi.
The difference between
on that.
So I have people coming to me
Because
all
on the DSCRs, on a lot of these loans, you have to be at 75, 25.
Yeah, so I can push 80. If it's a great location, prime.
And if your FICO is that good, so you
FICO really doesn't matter with my guy. It doesn't really matter.
Oh, because it's private
he wants
money.
he just wants to see a bank statement. Do you have enough money to pay me back? Do you know what?
Got it. And this is a part where I say liquid is king, right? Because then if you can prove you have the money, it takes money to make money.
You know what? It really does. I don't.
So what's your take on that, Veronica? Switching tables, right? Because I think this is kind of crazy.
Okay.
When you're looking to get financed or when you're looking to do something, you do need to have some sort of collateral, some sort of liquid.
Yes.
So what is the step for somebody who's just starting off? Let's say if I'm a realtor, right? I'm a realtor and I'm looking to do my first flip.
Okay.
How much money should I have in my bank account?
You can have 0, but be willing to split the profit.
Okay.
Right?
So look, this is the creative financing part about Veronica. This is where you realtors need to learn how to make some money without having any money. And we listen that on the bullshit videos that we see on YouTube and nobody ever believes it. Because I was one of those. I was one of those that I'm like, I don't believe it. I saw this YouTube channel and I saw some guy say he did his first flip with credit card money. And I'm like, how the hell did he do it credit card money?
You can do that. But I'm saying if you're not greedy, if you really, really, really want to get into it and you're not, number one, don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. This is your $10,000 course right now.
Right.
This
is free game right
here. Right here. This is all free. All you literally have to do is find the deal. And I'm going to tell you who to go to. I guarantee you don't even need me. You can go straight to your broker. Your broker is going to have... Your broker's successful. Who do you think his friends are? successful investors.
Correct.
So I'm going to literally, those people right there, 50-50. 50-50. The hardest part, I guarantee you, is finding the deal.
Finding the deal.
Call me. I'll
Yeah.
get you an investor.
Right.
Yeah, 50-50.
And then 50-50 on the flip.
50-50 on the profit, unless you say, hey, give me $10,000
Up
you
front?
keep the $10,000 up front. You great. Now you have just made yourself a wholesaler.
A wholesale deal.
You're now a
Yeah.
wholesaler, but I get the listing back. Cool. No risk, no return. You
Right.
you call it what you want.
Yeah.
Up to you.
And it's fast money, no risk, and then you just made it real quick.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's how much do you want to be involved in it? Do you want to wholesale it? Thank you so much. Here's my money. Or do you want to really learn the process? Be hands on. Yeah. Let me know who you're calling. Let me go out there. What are footings? What's drywall? What's what is all that? Do you really want to?
So did you have to learn that as a hard money lender now,
No,
Veronica?
I don't. I read the bids, but nah.
So you look at what's called like the scope of work, and then you
Correct.
start seeing,
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah.
So what are the ins and outs out of that for like the people who are listening?
The ins and outs.
Like
Honestly,
let's say I'm doing my fix and flip, I have the 20% or I have the 10% down.
Yeah.
It's my first one. What do I need to know?
you're gonna have to get some good contractors. Actually, you're gonna need to know your stuff. Honestly, your best friend is gonna be a home inspector. To be honest,
Okay.
You're gonna want to call them out because more than likely, if you get a flip, you're not gonna get a home inspection. You're not gonna know, and they're gonna see things you didn't see. There's going to be a leak somewhere that you didn't see that they found. So as soon as you close the deal, I would say go get an inspection.
So Veronica, let me lean in on this one. What's some of the horror stories that you've seen?
I've seen
Like the worst one of the ones that you're like, oh, this is
let me see, a foundation issue.
that costs how much?
Huge. Good friend of mine. Good friend of mine. The guy, I've known him since 2002. I've known him since 2002. Bought a house, was on a slope. But that was his diamond in the rough. That was his big nugget. And I think he spent 2 years fixing that foundation. I think out of pocket, I think he spent $1 million, but I think he ended up selling it for 2.1. Yeah. And I think he put $300,000 in repairs, something like that. It was massive return.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that it's more convenient to stay like at the lower level on the price of the flips or on the higher end?
10% on $100,000 is $10,000. 10% on $1 million is $100,000. 10% on $100,000 payment wise is $1,000. 10% on it. How big is your wallet? Is what I'm going to say. Yeah. All right, and you got to really know if you're going to go in the $1 million ranges. That's different. That's a different taste. That's a different style. That's a different, if you're new in there and you don't get a designer and you don't get your whole interior designer to lay it out right, you're going to hit or miss.
So for me, guys, my take on that one, right, to just share this podcast with you guys. If you're going to go on the higher end, Veronica's 100% on it. Your clientele who's going to be for that home is going to have a different taste than your average Joe. So the finishes on the home have to be different. Now, most investors, they'll look at the lower end and they'll do the cheapest material because they want to keep the rehab budget low.
Right.
Now, when they get on the higher end, they still have that same mentality. And guess what? Those houses are going to sit.
Yep.
So what Veronica's talking about, you have to have a bigger pocket, a bigger wallet. What she's talking about is that house is going to sit on the market.
Yeah.
It's going to sit for longer because the person buying that home is going to make more of a calculated risk on it.
Savvier
And then they're going to look at the details and they're going to negotiate and there's going to see on the home inspection the things that your inspector missed or that your contractor did. And then guess what? You're going to be stuck at a longer time. So during those months, those payments are interest only.
Yes. The balance doesn't go down unless you pay $1.
So if I spend
$10,000
3 months on that one flipping it, another 3 months on the market, now I'm 6 months at 10% of, let's say, $1 million.
$10,000.
Now 10 grand for 6 months, there goes $60,000. And if I didn't calculate that when I did my budget for what I wanted to make, guess what?
Yep.
I'm gone 60K.
Yep. There's no way of getting it back. Yeah. You got to really look at the materials you use. I mean, and depending on the city, even Diamond Bar, you got to look at feng shui.
Right.
You got to look at the color of the door, the number of the address. There's so many little things.
So what are like the 3 main things that you feel like people miss when they're doing a flip?
I'm going to say, You know what? I don't have nothing to say on that one because I don't fund it if it doesn't make sense.
So what do you look for when it comes to making sense?
You know what? My underwriters and my team look at the comps, and we're pretty aggressive with it. We don't see the 6 months. We see what's in the real close parameters.
So you look at the 90 days.
We look at 30 days if possible, and we're going to use that. So
Got
I'm going to
it.
tell you, if I say I can't find, I need more money down, there's a big chance that I don't see your same ARV. I don't think you're going to sell it for what you think you are.
And most people, when they're investors, are they very optimistic, or
They always are.
they always say, "Hey, I'm going to sell it for this
$1 billion,
much." Yeah,
I
100
hope
guys.
you do. I really I want your repeat business.
For me myself, I'm on the flip side.
Yeah.
I always play the worst card.
That's the
Playing the worst card. How much money will I make? And if I'm okay with that, then I'll move forward. If I'm not, guess what? I'm not going to do it.
Right. And what, in your opinion, what's a good return?
30%.
That's a lot.
Yeah, 30%, right?
Okay.
So now, how am I going to make 30%? It's not going to be from a wholesale deal.
Nope.
It's going to be from a deal that I found myself.
Correct.
Now,
Door knocking.
Referral. Or my team or referrals or somebody send me this home. That's where I'm going to find the best deals. Now, if I want to make 15%, then it's going to be from a wholesaler.
Right.
Now, what I'm going to look for on a wholesale deal is turn times. If I'm going to make less money, I need to make less money faster.
Right.
So what I'm going to look is going to be for a light flip. Nothing too crazy. I'm okay with making less money. The one that I'm doing right now, this is my 3rd week and I'm done.
Good. That's perfect.
So I'm not making 30%. I'm not even making 20. I'm making 15, but I'm done in a month. And then I'm going to put on the market, and I'm praying that in 2-3 weeks, it's going to go into escrow. So it's going to take me 2.5 months,
Right.
made
First-time
10%, and I'm cool. Yeah, first-time home buyer, definitely. My types of flips, first-time home buyer all
And then
day.
you get the loan.
Yeah, get the loan, get the real estate side. I list it myself,
Yeah.
so I'm okay.
Okay.
And then if I bring my
One-stop
own buyers, so it's a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
I actually don't do the loans, so I have a hard money lender like yourself.
Oh, okay.
But guess who's gonna be my new hard money lender?
I know it's me.
Hey, so a lot of it, guys. The second part where Veronica was talking about, hey, you can start your first deal. There's 2 ways a lot of people do it. For example, it's so crazy that she was talking about this when she walked in. Before we aired and before we got on this camera, she was talking about how you go to these courses and these trainings where you spend $5,000-$10,000 and you don't learn anything.
No.
I spent $50,000 on a one year coaching, and I did learn. But I learned way more once I started doing it than what I actually did from my coach.
You missed what you could have gotten out of it, though. 'Cause
Yeah,
all
so
the
what I
other-
did learn from them was the relationships that I built there.
Exactly.
So some of the lenders, a lot of the deals that I got were from the people, not from the coach, but it was the people that were around me.
Yes.
So you were talking about the 5 people that you hang around, the 5 other business owners. The best thing is, like right now, Veronica is now one of my 5. So if I ever come across a deal that I don't want, guess what? I'm going to call Veronica and say, hey, Veronica, do you have somebody?
Yes.
Then I'll become a wholesaler, and here we go. So when it came to that, the second part of what I do now is I partner with agents. I partner with business owners. I have capital investors. If you tell me, hey, you know what, Carlos, I have some money that I'm sitting on.
Yep.
I don't know what to do with it. Well, guess what? Give it to me.
Yeah.
I'll flip it. And I'll give you a return on your money.
Yeah.
You run no risk. You're not going to do any of the work. And then you're just a capital investor.
Right.
Or 2, you can become my partner. I'm all for becoming a partner.
Right.
I'll make less off the pie. But now you're going to put up the money there.
Yep.
And then you're going to help me. You're going to
50-50.
learn the process. And you're going to make money while you're learning.
Yeah.
So most people say, well, I don't want to do it to make 50%. Well,
Then do it yourself.
100% of 0 is 0. Or you can run the full risk. And now you have 100% of the
Or
risk.
pay $50,000 for a course where you don't learn a whole lot.
Exactly. So what do you think, Veronica, is one of the best ways for somebody to get started? Like if you were to say, hey, you know what, if you were to talk to yourself right now, you're going to do a flip, knowing what you know now, because girl, you've been doing this since 99.
Yeah.
You've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, everything.
Yes.
So what would it be like the top 3 things you think
If I
a
was
person
an
should do
agent-
if you were an agent?
If I was an agent, I would go start looking at foreclosures because those are the people that are going to pay more attention to you, that are not going to think about it. They are ready to do something. I think those are going to listen to you a little bit more. If you say, hey, I could buy your house right now and put you in something else.
Tienen más necesidad.
Yes.
They're running they're in a point where
time
it's a
frame.
struggle. There's a time
There's a
frame.
time frame.
They need to move. So
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. It's fucked up to say it, but
And then-
they're in an emotional status where they're not thinking clearly.
Right.
So then if you're thinking about making the most money, it's going to be that route.
Yes.
And guess what the other wholesaler did? He went to those first, and now he's making a penny off of it, just giving it to you.
And there's your next referrals. They're thankful that you saved them. They're thankful that you helped them with something. Here's
Right.
5 of my friends. They might be the same foreclosure boat because, those are your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're going to be grateful. Yeah.
So then what do you recommend they go knock on doors and say pre-foreclosure?
Yeah, 100%. Or call.
So
Call
now,
your radar.
now that you're on that side of things, if somebody is going through a foreclosure, how can they stop the foreclosure from happening?
The legal steps? Or
Yes. So the legal side. So if they show an intent to sell, does that stop the process?
Depends on how far along they are. A lot of people will just file bankruptcy to delay it, or just to keep on filing bankruptcy. I think you can only do it twice.
So we keep it real on this podcast.
Yeah,
let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm behind on my mortgage, 3 payments that have already been served with a
notice of default.
Because I got served at 60 days, correct?
Right.
So I'm at day 90. What's going on now? What is the bank threatening to
No,
do?
notice of trustee sale. You get the notice of trustee sale, right?
Okay.
And it's usually, so I used to buy trustee sales. It usually goes 30, 30, 45, and then 5. On that last one is when it sells. You get postponed. And they still give you a chance, But yeah, I used to buy trustee sales.
And then when somebody gets their house foreclosed, are they making any money on their house? Like, let's say
Nothing at all.
if it forecloses, even though they had $100,000-$200,000 in equity, like.
Nothing.
So for you guys listening, I want you guys to think about this. Right now, if you're going through this and you're going through a foreclosure, you're way better off selling the home.
Absolutely.
Getting some of your money back, because I mean, trust me, it's nothing you're going to be proud of. But at the same time, don't let your pride get in front of it. Your pride and your emotions going to get between it, and then you're not thinking reasonably. You're better off selling the property. Then you'll be able to finance again.
Yes.
But if you get foreclosed on, how hard is it to get a loan after a foreclosure?
It's the same. I mean, you're gonna need more money down. But I mean, sell, get the money, sit, hold tight, rent something. Let's come back down.
Right.
Save the money. Put it in a Amex savings account. 4%, 4.5%. You'll get something back.
Some of your money back.
Yeah.
Got it. So then, you would say for them to, if you're a new agent, number 1, target pre-foreclosures or foreclosure homes.
So if you're really trying to get into the flip world, that's probably going to be an opportunity for an investor.
And number 2, what would you say that is?
Number 2, what do you mean?
For like, what would be the top 3 things for an agent to get started?
Go knock on foreclosures. Always keep in mind, you always give out your business cards. That's why I cannot be a realtor. But wherever you're at, the person doing your nails, the person that's changing your oil, everybody just.
So now that you're like in the hard money game and you've been in the business for this long, do you still like treat it like if you're a new person? Do you still hand out your business card? Do you still shoot DMs? Do you still talk to them? Or is it all like incoming in the pipe now?
The funny thing is for the past 10 years, I've never had to hit the field. I actually got 90% of my business from email campaigns and social media.
Really?
Out of the past 10 years, I would say I've met a total of 12 clients in person.
And the email campaigns, because that goes big. A lot of people don't believe in email campaigns.
I do 40,000 emails a month, and I've been doing it religiously for 10 years.
What system do you use for the email campaign?
I do the Get Response.
Get Response.
Get the Response, yeah.
And do they do it for you, or do you have to set up a template?
I do it myself. I've done it myself for 10 years.
So let me ask you this. What is your subject line for the highest opening rate?
Normally, I do something like, I think the one in the past has got me just a 90 close now, 90% close now, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Different ones. I switch it up. I use AI.
Okay.
Yeah, AI.
Which AI do you use?
ChatGPT.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then would you just ask it what to send?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, so that helps out a lot. They do create
So okay, so let me ask you this. Do you still go to like a lot of seminars, or how do you stay up to date to everything that you do? I mean, it sounds like you're super smart. And then
I read.
But what do you read?
I look at my competition, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. I look at the competition, or I look Google.
But like, let's say your competition's not going to always say what they're doing.
No.
Or not, they're not going to show you how to do it.
No, absolutely not. No, never. Yeah. So just definitely see what they're offering. Not even my competition. I think I just Google, or just start talking to people like you. Who do you use for hard money?
Right.
Yeah. I just started this year doing networking events. So.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
In the whole time that you've been in the industry, has it always been hard money?
Yeah, in the past 10 years.
So you never did like traditional financing?
I did traditional for, I want to say 3 months, and I noticed that somebody would leave me for 0.125 difference, an eighth difference in the rate, and that's when I tapped out. This is not for me. So I got laughed at, told, what am I doing here? It's a male-dominated world, hard money.
So walk me through that. What was like the mental state of mind when you were going through that?
I had a lot of big wigs, a lot of, big investors,
Right.
I was new.
And being like Latina and everything, did you feel like back then especially?
That was hard. It was really hard. It was really hard. It was really hard. And I know a lot of people, I took it, fuel to the fire. If they told, I remember one guy once told me, to this day, I know him, and he actually came to me for a loan the other day. They tell me, like, what are you doing here? Like, you don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, damn, maybe I don't. So that's when I just
start questioning yourself.
Yeah, I started questioning myself, and I really got to figure out what I'm saying. But you know what the number one thing is?
Right.
Is relationships. So I'm going to say you and me can go to the same investor, but because I've now known them for 10 years,
right,
they're going to favor me and do higher LTVs for me, charge lower points, do special favors because I've worked with them now for 10 years. So it's relationships.
100%.
Yeah, relationships. Like I have my friend calls me sister. I have another guy. 50% LTV, no problem. I can get docs tomorrow, no problems. No issues. He'll charge me a point.
Yeah. 100%. It is really who you know. Yeah. And then, once you were there though, what was it that kept you at float? That said, hey, you know what? I still got it.
I don't have the patience to do traditional.
No, but I'm saying when you were thinking about quitting and you were having all those rough moments, what was it that made you keep on pushing though? Because most people would just tap out and give up. It's easier to give up than to keep going.
I had no choice. I was a single mom. I had no choice, and I knew I could do it.
It was sink or swim.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, and I wanted to do it. Yeah.
Got it. And now, what do you do now for you, right? Mm-hmm. To keep on having, because now you're successful. Now you're killing the game. But what do you do now? What's a day in Veronica look like to make sure that it hasn't changed? So walk me through. What's a day in
morning? I wake up at 5 a.m., go in front of the computer, make sure my emails are going out. Look for.
So first thing you do when you wake up is you shoot over to the computer.
Yep, I do. Yeah.
Okay, you got that OCD in. Huh?
I don't know what it is, but I wake up 5 a.m. I drink my protein shake. My office is in my home, thank God.
Okay.
I work from home.
You check the emails to make sure the anxiety levels are good. I didn't miss anything. I'm putting out the fires that need to be put out.
I am quick.
And then what? So that goes from 5 a.m. to what, 5:30?
5 a.m. till 6:30.
Okay.
5 a.m. till 6:30. I get my daughter ready for school. I drop her off. I come back home. Or sometimes I go to my trainer. I have a personal trainer and come back. And come back, and I'm always on my phone.
And then what?
And then I'm just in front of the computer.
And when do you have your self-development moment, you're reading or when you do your research?
I'm really bad at that. I don't do that.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah.
But then you do in a way, because you're talking about, you look at what the competition's doing. You know about AI, where a lot of lenders who've been in the business, they don't care for the new stuff because of what they did 5 years ago. Right. Still works for them, so they don't ever study anything new.
Yeah. It's a lot of things too. I used to do this a lot. So whenever a guy would tell me no, or they would go with somebody else, I would write that address down. I would look it up in 30 days, and I would see who they closed with, and I would Google that bank. And then I found out who that source was. Hey, you took a deal.
You were that tóxica that was hey, ¿con quién te fuiste? Quiero saber por qué. I want to know the whole shebang.
Yeah, so I would find out who they went with, and I would tell them, hey, I had this deal and you successfully closed. Can I? What do you have to offer? What are you offering? Yeah.
God, well, I bought him 2 shots of tequila, and then I gave him $100 gift card to Starbucks, and he said, "I'm going with you."
Yeah.
Got it.
I see.
Hey, Vero. So, being in the investment side, have you noticed a difference on who the investors were like 10 years ago and what you're seeing on the market as far as investors now?
Oh, you know what? I can say that there's a good handful of them still in the business that I know. Yeah. But they've been in the business 10 years before I was in the business. So I don't know. It's a lot of old souls, a lot of people. When they're older and they're doing investments, listen to them.
Yeah.
100%.
Because they know what they're talking
Yeah.
about. That
It's-
experience doesn't come.
Yeah.
Like,
they pay dues.
Los años no pasan en balde, and you lived it,
Yeah.
so you know it.
Yeah. If I were you and I wanted to really know, I would ask those old souls and great investors, what was your biggest lesson?
Right.
What was your biggest and what was your most expensive lesson?
Yes. You know what? Those expensive lessons are the ones that you don't forget.
Right.
I talk to agents now, and I'm like,
Because you
know
had
what?
to pay for those.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I fumbled this, and it cost me 10 grand.
Yep.
Cost me 15 grand, and guess what?
Yeah.
You're probably not gonna listen right now, but when it happens to you, you're gonna remember what I told you,
Yeah.
because this is how expensive it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And it hurts, right?
Yep,
You're
it
like, it
hurts.
hurts. It hits you, right? And it's not gonna happen at the best moment. It usually happens at the worst moment.
Yep. When you need it
When
the
you
most.
need it the most, and that's when the one that you're gonna learn and you're gonna remember forever.
Never do that again.
Guys, so we're wrapping this one up. Veronica, for people who want to follow you, where can they find you?
Close with Veronica.
Close with Veronica. So that's on Instagram?
That's on Instagram.
What about if they want to stalk you on Facebook?
Veronica Guillen.
There you go. You guys heard it. So we're going to be having this full episode on YouTube. We're also going to have a couple reels, so make sure you give her a follow. Guys, show her some love. If you guys are thinking about doing a hard money loan, you want to know if there's an investor out there who you can partner with other than myself, you can always go to Veronica. Make sure you guys shoot her a DM. So, Veronica, do you actually respond to those DMs?
I respond to all those DMs.
Unless they're a creep?
Unless they're kind of creepy. Don't.
Got it. All right, guys. So you guys know where to start. All right. So next time, guys, stay tuned.
Thank you. Bye, guys.